In life, one of the most important things to learn is what's appropriate, maybe a little spicy, and what's downright degenerate. Okay. It's good to have the spiciness, but you don't want to be a degenerate. Let me use a real life example. Let's say you happen to have a girlfriend and you're kind of playing around and she's naked and you have a feather to tease her. That's a little spicy. But if you use a whole chicken, that is degenerate. And last night, the GOP politicians, they used the whole chicken. It was gross. For example, if they wanted to be a little spicy about Israel or appropriate, it would be something like, yes, we stand with Israel in their fight against Hamas, and we stand with the victims' families, and we hope Israel can punish the terrorists. 100%. That's a good message. Instead, you had someone like Nikki Haley said, it's not Israel that needs America. America needs Israel. I'm like, what the hell? Wasn't there a country, America, before 1948? I guess according to Nikki Haley, no. So see, Nikki Haley got out the whole chicken. It was gross. But we did have one guy, my boy Vivek Ramaswamy, the based Indian. He going against the other Indian, he actually had a great response. And we're going to dissect how he did this. And the only reason that the debate was any reason to watch it was him. He went all out. He went balls to the wall. He went Ramsey Paul at the debate stage. And I loved it. So let's just take a look at this and we'll look at this stream here. Let me just bring this up here. And here we go. This is at the debate. And they're asking about, oh, what would you tell Bibi?
Between you and the candidates we just heard in this issue on what you would tell the prime minister?
Not in terms of what I would tell the prime minister, no. In fact, I would go one step further. The founding vision of Israel was based on the idea that they don't want to depend on anybody else's sympathy or direction in defending themselves.
I love this. I love this because he's kind of like supporting Israel, but it's sort of like if you had a son and he's grown, but he's still living in your house. And you say, son, I know your dream has always been that you don't want to depend on anyone else for your support. And, so it's like, I'm helping you, son. I know this is what you want. And he's kind of saying the same thing about Israel.
So what I would tell Bibi is that Israel has the right and the responsibility to defend itself.
Israel has the right and the responsibility to defend itself. Be like, son, you have the right and the responsibility to feed yourself. I don't know. If you read between the lines here, I think a lot of, and this was sponsored by the Jewish committee. They're like, I don't know what this guy's saying.
I would tell him to smoke those terrorists on his southern border. And then I'll tell him as president of the United States, I'll be smoking the terrorists on our southern border.
See what he's doing? He said, okay, so you deal with your terrorist on your border, and we're going to deal with our terrorist on our border. So it'd be, in the analogy, it'd be like, yeah, son, you pay for your food and I'll pay for my food. All right, high five. And I don't think this is what Israel wants. I don't think this is what they had in mind. No. They want our taxpayer money. So this is a little tricky what he did here.
That's his responsibility. This is our responsibility.
This is our responsibility is our border. Your responsibility is your border. This is what Vivek is saying. And all the other candidates like, I don't know. It sounds kind of good, but I don't know. It sounds a little bit off here.
That's how we move forward. But I want to be careful to avoid making the mistakes from the neocon establishment of the past.
Whoa! He has brought up the neocons and neocons. Who were the neocons? And so he's saying, I don't want to repeat the mistakes of the neocons in the past. And again, they're talking about Israel. So the assumption is we could fall into the same trap we did with other countries when it came to the neocons. And neocons are basically people that want eternal war for Israel.
Corrupt politicians in both parties spent trillions, killed millions, made billions for themselves in places like Iraq and Afghanistan, fighting wars that sent thousands of our sons and daughters, people my age, to die in wars that did not advance anyone's interests, adding $7 trillion to our national debt. And Joe Biden sold off our foreign policy, Joe Biden's son, Hunter Biden, got a $5 million bribe from Ukraine. That's why we're sending $200 billion back to that same country.
Whoa. So we're not sending 200 billion to Ukraine to fight for democracy. Is because Joe Biden got a bribe through his son, Hunter. I love it. I love it, man. He's just spitting red pills here.
The fact of the matter is the Republican Party is not that much better. You have the likes of Nikki Haley, who stepped down from her time at the UN. Bankrupt or in debt was her family.
Oh, so she was next to bankrupt and in debt when she stepped down from the UN. She's not liking this if you look at her.
Then she becomes a military contractor. She joins the board of Boeing and otherwise, and is now a multimillionaire.
So for some reason, Boeing says, hey, Nikki, we want you on our board. We'll pay you millions.
I think that that's wrong when Republicans do it or Democrats do it. That's the choice we face. Do you want a leader from...
And take a look at her. She's deceiving here. Look at this. She's deceiving. You're not supposed to do this. This is a game they do in Washington of how politicians get their bribes. This is how they get bribes. They're in the government service, and then they jump into the private sector to become on the board of directors. Why? Because she's an aerospace expert. She's an engineer that understands flight. Hell no. She has no idea about any of that bullshit. Boeing just knows if she's connected and they can continue to get these defense contracts. So they're going to pay her off and go, sweetheart, just sit on our board. You don't have to do anything and we'll pay you millions of dollars. And look at this. Look at her face. She's like, oh shit, that he's saying the game. He's spilling the beans to Americans. You're not supposed to say. You're giving up our grift. This is our grift. What are you doing, Vivek?
Do it or Democrats do it. That's the choice we face. Do you want a leader from a different generation who's going to put this country first? Or do you want Dick Cheney in 3-inch heels?
All right, Mr.
In which case we've got two of them on stage.
Ramaswamy.
Dick Cheney in 3-inch heels. And we got two of them on stage. Well, Nikki Haley's one. Who's the other one? I think it was Ron DeSantis. And Ron DeSantis, they tease him because he's kind of short. He always wears heels and his cowboy boots to be taller. And wow, Vivek just went all out, spitting the truth here about the corrupt establishment. And remember, this all started about, oh, what would your advice to Israel be? And then he turns it around saying we don't need to end up like we did with these other neocons, stupid wars. Oh, no, we love Israel. We love you so much, Israel. We know you want to take care of yourself, right? They're like, no, actually, we want your billions of dollars. Vivek handled this perfectly, and he said it in such a way that seemed pretty nice. But wow, they're going to go after him now. He knows he's not going to be the nominee, but I love him saying this. This was just excellent. Talk to you guys later.